Jodi Carlson.
Ms. Carlson, please.
Good evening. I'm here tonight, and I have it written out, so I'll talk fast. I'm here tonight to speak on behalf of the illegal acts and shoddy practices that have taken place against the citizens of Grand Forks and visitors to our city who enjoy the winter activity of snowmobiling. I will not go into the processes that were done to get this in motion. I will just reiterate that the people who were legally responsible for making the decision on the location of the north to south trail to replace the 42nd trail by expanding, it's an expansion of the current trail on the Greenway further south, did just that, and everyone thought it was wonderful, including the mayor. I would like to bring your attention that the current city code indicates that Chief Nelson will decide on the safety of the routes and make the approval. This is not a decision that the city council has any authority to make an independent decision on or override. It's in current city code. It is Chief Nelson's responsibility. The reason it was brought to the council is because someone thought that there should be no snowmobiles on her Greenway. It was then decided by the Greenway Advisory Committee, which she states, quote, is not a decision-making body, unquote, to do a survey, which from the Herald interview that was done with Brad Dawkin, her quote is, the survey is for input only and won't have any impact on the ultimate fate of the Snowmobile Club's request, unquote. Another quote from the article states, again, it's not a vote, but it's my job to make sure that people understand what's going on. Really, then why are we even here? What people need to understand? That's an interesting question, as the only people who received information on completing the survey, were people who are followers of the Greenway page and some homeowners on the Greenway. This would be a bit like only informing those who are against Fufang of the date and time of the vote, if there ever was one. Wow, I guess all tax-paying citizens don't need to be involved. The Greenway meeting notes from the October 18th meeting states that the plan was to also, quote, promote the survey to the public. I would like to know how this was done, as any of my conversations have, no one knew about this survey. Mr. Brian Chandler from the Snowmobile Club got the sense that this was going to be a go-ahead for the community. In the Herald article, there's a quote from Ms. Greendahl that seems to approve the trail. Again, quote, for the most part, the requested snowmobile expansion doesn't affect other routes and trails within the Greenway. It would cross the ski trail in places, and there are a couple areas where skiers and snowmobilers potentially would share the same trail for short stretches, unquote. Then the survey results are reported. What a huge scare tactic. The report states that the survey was done to, quote, give the local community an opportunity to comment on the proposed extension of the snowmobile trail through the Greenway, unquote. Before I talk about the results of the 214 survey responses, I would like to inform you of the survey process. I stated above who it was sent to, but there are many other concerns. The survey directions, and please know I looked through them and I visited with people who actually took that survey. The survey directions allowed users to submit as many surveys as they had devices, as long as they only submitted one survey per device. For my home, I would have been able to submit 5 surveys. Looking at some of the comments received, I found frequent misspellings of the same words, the exact same words, and also found the same verbiage used throughout many of the comments, such as, quote, this is a really, really bad idea. It makes me a bit suspicious of who actually completed these surveys, but that information was redacted from the results. 38 of the survey responses were admittedly from areas outside of Grand Forks, coming from Fargo, Colorado, New Jersey, and New York. These surveys were not excluded from the compilation of the results. The report also states that, quote, it is possible that that number is higher. Excuse me. 137 of the respondents lived 1/4 a mile or less from the Greenway. The initial 6 key questions allowed you to only have one response, which, and you can look at the survey here. I'll finish up here. Most respondents chose other, which allowed them to expound on their opinions. So the choice to select that route was adequate, was a good distance from other trails, were not selected as frequently so that people could be able to write out a comment under other. Out of the 62 responses of other, 18 of those seemed to indicate that they were in favor or didn't really have an opinion or had further questions about it. Out of the 214 surveys, 54 of them were more positive about the trail, including statements like, I'm not opposed if they stay on the trail. I'm not opposed to giving it a try. Well, the route looks okay to me. Well, the more people using the Greenway, the better. I like the idea of a snowmobile trail through the Greenway. The signage looks good. I'm not concerned about it. It seems reasonable. The trail is long overdue. The more people who can get outside, the better. When asked in the survey if the respondents would like to receive regular updates about Greenway events and activity, 100% of the respondents of the survey stated that they are already on the list. Some of the comments from respondents against this include that they don't want obnoxious snowmobiles. Snowmobiles already have, they can go to the river. Really, the last comment on there is that snowmobilers can get off their butts and walk, ski, or snowshoe.
Ms. Carlson, is that the survey result? Do you have this all written down that you can hand up to us?
I believe it came from the Greenway Committee.
Okay.
The survey that they sent out.
Okay.
The survey results, which were reported to the council last week, as that there are so many concerns and people against this, are not only inaccurately reported to the council, they are absolutely invalid based on the unethical process of the survey. I did my own survey yesterday in the process of one day. My survey on social media gathered 326 comments, and I did a poll of 275 people who were all only allowed one vote, and that was throughout the city. 84% were in favor, 5% were against, and 11% didn't care. This council has become absolutely tyrannical, and it must stop.
Yeah, Ms. Carlson,
This is my last paragraph.
Please, thank you.
You continue to take more and more power from the people, including the city employees, without any request or desire for input from the people who put you in these positions. The decision on the trail should be made by the person in charge of safety and enforcement. The trail extension was signed by Chief Nelson prior to Ms. Greendahl's biased, unethical, and unsolicited survey, and was set to begin on 12/1/22. The council has absolutely zero authority to interfere with that. The council must put a motion on the table tonight and allow Chief Nelson to do what he has been delegated to do, and allow him to extend the trail. Thank you.